Hi everyone, welcome to Raise the Bar, the podcast where we learn from leaders who push boundaries and inspire us to think bigger. I'm Rehan Kimji, your host and the founder of Snack, India's first protein bars created specifically for teenagers. Today, I'm thrilled to be speaking with Mr. Ritesh Bawri. He's the founder of Breathe Again and the mind behind nirā, a platform that has helped across 20 countries reverse lifestyle diseases like type 2 diabetes, hypertension, and asthma through nutrition alone. Certified in physiology from Harvard Medical School and nutrition from Tufts, and holding an MBA from the University of Michigan, Mr. Ritesh brings a rare combination of scientific rigor and entrepreneurial thinking to one of the most important problems of our time: how we eat, how we live, and how long we thrive. He's also an author and the host of the Ritesh Bawri Show, where he breaks down complex health sciences for everyday people. In this episode, we'll explore the science behind what we eat, why lifestyle diseases are reversible, and what young people can do right now to build a foundation for lifelong health. Welcome to Raise the Bar, Mr. Ritesh. Thank you for joining us today.
Nirā, real pleasure.
So, Mr. Ritesh, you reverse type 2 diabetes, hypertension, and asthma. Can you walk me through what the reversal actually looked like on a day-to-day level?
Sure. So first of all, please call me Ritesh. I feel old otherwise. Very happy to be here and very excited to share whatever little we've learned in this journey. Let me start by a couple of conceptual platforms that actually would be helpful for the user or the viewer to understand.
Yeah.
The first is actually that the body renews every second.
Okay.
Okay, we tend to think of ourselves as 15, 20, 30, 40, 50. But actually the body is renewing every second. You make about 5 million cells per second. And so given the fact that you're making new cells, if you want to actually correct whatever is wrong in your body, every second you have a chance. So that's conceptually something that's really useful to understand. That was the principle I used to change my life. What the human body needs is a condition called homeostasis, which just means balance. In the simplest way to understand is to say that the body has battery limits or boundaries. If I'm outside my boundaries, when I develop disease, if I bring my body back into balance within my boundaries, then actually all disease goes away. The combination of the fact that your body is renewing every second and the fact that you brought it back into balance gives every human being a chance, no matter how old or young you are. That's actually exactly what I did. I corrected my lifestyle. I brought my body back into balance. And so the diabetes, hypertension, hyperacidity, asthma, all of that just disappeared.
So what was the first nutritional change that you made in your day that actually, helped you produce a measurable result?
Yes, that's a good question. So I'd say, the first problem I solved actually was hunger.
Okay.
Because when you're hungry, you'll eat, right? You won't think. And if there's junk around me, I'll eat junk, right? I say, at that moment, I'm just too hungry. But I was overweight. So it's a little bit counterintuitive, right? Here's someone who has extra energy. He's overweight, but is constantly hungry. That hunger was a disguised deficiency. My body wasn't getting all the nutrition it needed. I was deficient all the time. So what my body was craving was that deficiency, which I was filling with chips and snacks.
Okay.
So the minute I started giving my body everything it needed, that hunger dissipated. I could start eating a lot less, which is really the first change I made. As I made that change, my weight started going down. There was just magic after that, right? Who doesn't like weight loss?
Yeah. Talking about this, also, most people treat this disease management as something that's permanent. When did you start believing that the reversal was actually possible? Like, what was that one moment that convinced you to, go on this change in your journey?
Sure. So, see, you have to be clinical, you have to be methodical, and you have to be empirical. This is not a feel good.
Yeah.
Right? This is not like me just saying, oh, I felt better with my diabetes, and so I'm fine. So there are very clear markers, right? My HbA1c was 6.7.
Okay.
When my HbA1c came down to 5, right? There's no ambiguity. Any medical doctor would certify and say I'm diabetes free.
Yeah.
Let's just take bronchial asthma.
Yeah.
My wife wearing perfume would give me like a sneezing fit for half an hour. If that changes and I can run in December in Delhi and not fall sick, then you can call it whatever you want, but I feel I'm fine.
Yeah, I mean, that's commendable, right? Also, one more problem is that the mainstream advice, especially in India, has been low fat, high carb. And, your work seems to challenge that very frequently. What does the science actually say about the macronutrient balance for metabolic health?
Yeah, sure. It's a complex topic. It would be remiss of me to give you a simplistic answer.
Yeah.
but I'll try my best. The first thing to understand is actually all energy is energy, whether it's protein, carb, or fat.
Okay.
You need a total certain amount. Let's say in my case, I need 1500 calories. Frankly, if I got all of it as 1500 calories of fat, my calorie need would be fulfilled, right? Then I need nutritional needs, right? So I need the magnesium, potassium, calcium, carb, things like that, which is why actually we eat different kinds of foods. Uh, my arguments actually, if I need 1500, I should eat 1500, no more, no less.
Yeah.
The mix of that's actually a function of what you're trying to achieve at that moment. If I'm trying to build my muscle, then I might be a little more protein heavy. If I'm trying to maybe cure a disease, I might be a little more fat heavy. So I'd say largely it's dependent on the goal that you have, but we shouldn't vilify any one particular type. They're all actually necessary.
So do you think we should, eat the amount of calories at our resting calorie rate, or do you think we should eat in a surplus or deficit? How would you
Yeah,
go about that?
really good question again. So, the formula for calculating actually came from the US. And as you can tell, people in the US are much bigger and taller than we are.
Yeah.
And so I think those calculations that were done were using, let's say, samples from the US. In my own personal experience of having done this 11 years, I think it's a grossly exaggerated number.
Okay.
So they say 2400 for men and 1800 for women.
Yeah.
I mean, try and feed an Indian woman 1800 calories, she'll put on weight faster than you can see.
Fair enough. And you also posted about hitting 100 grams of protein without any fancy supplements. What does a realistic
Yeah.
high protein day look like for an Indian diet specifically? What can I incorporate to, hit these goals without having to take supplements and additional, junk that's not good for my system?
Sure. And I mean, see, obviously, one of the challenges of these questions is that they're complex.
Yeah.
If you're non-vegetarian, you're eating chicken, egg, and fish,
Yeah.
then there's no debate even of getting 100 grams of protein a day. That's like not even a debate. I think the debate comes when you're vegetarian. But again, in vegetarian food, there's dal, there's dahi, there's chia seeds, there is all kinds of lentils, there are nuts and seeds, there's spirulina. So it's not like, you can't get protein. Chola, like garbanzo beans, is one of the best sources of protein you can get. You make hummus out of it, it just becomes wonderful. You add sesame, it just makes it a very complex food, which is really wonderful for you.
Yeah.
Then the next question obviously is how much. So let's say I'm doing 1 gram per kg and I'm a 50 kg woman. Then I just need 50 grams, right?
Yeah.
That's a bowl of dal, a bowl of dahi, and some nuts.
Got it.
How hard is that? It's not really hard.
And sunlight, vitamin D, and the immune disease. You know that clinical
Yeah.
trials on vitamin D supplementation failed to replicate what sunlight does. What is sunlight
Yeah.
actually doing to the immune system that a capsule can't do?
Sure. I have lots of friends in this business, so I'm going to do some by what I say. I mean, it's too complex for even human beings to have understood. So all sorts of energy in the world is sunlight. It's sunlight which converts into chlorophyll, which is then eaten by animals, which is then what you eat.
Yeah.
Right? Either you the plant and the meat or one. But the original source is always sunlight. That's energy, actually.
Yeah.
What sunlight does to the human body is actually not fully been understood. One of the derivatives is that it converts D3 into D25 in your body when you get sunlight. So I'm one of those people who's a big fan of actually spending a lot of time in the sun. That's how we used to live till very recently. We all went indoors, ACs came around, and modern buildings came around. I won't say don't take the D3, take it if you need to, but additionally spend as much time as you can in the sun.
Got it. And India also has one of the highest rates of type 2 diabetes globally. What are the top 3
Yeah.
behaviors driving that specific to how Indians live?
Sure. So, we say we are non-vegetarian in India. Large populations in India are non-vegetarian. Like we've been doing this 11 years, we must have curated maybe 40, 50 million meals across all the different people we work with. We are not non-vegetarian. We are predominantly vegetarian. We predominantly carbohydrate heavy. So our meal is either roti or rice, no matter where you are. And then everything else is on top of. So if I'm a meat-eating household and I'm eating chicken, egg, and fish, the chicken, egg, and fish is the filler. My main meal is still the rice or the roti. So I'm eating, a stack of roti. And then I'm eating a little bit of chicken or fish alongside. So what's happened actually is our lifestyles have become very carbohydrate heavy. And then clearly we're eating much more than we need. Both those causes actually are predominantly the reason why we are now becoming the diabetes capital of the world. So at the very least, I'd say moderate the quantity, even if you can't moderate the composition.
How important
Just
is
eat less.
sleep and like physical movements for diabetes? Is there a correlation between like sleep and how active you are to the
Absolutely.
diabetes?
Absolutely. Great question. So, sleep is when you rest and digest. If you don't rest and digest, your body carries stress. Stress has multiple pathways that creates hunger. It creates sugar cravings. So your body will produce cortisol. You'll develop what you call visceral fat around your abdomen. I'd say most Indians suffer from that disease of having a not so favorable abdomen area. That actually then creates a cascade of challenges. So you create what you call a cytokine storm, creating more and more and more inflammation in the body. That leads to all kinds of like challenges in the body. In the long run, actually, you're becoming more and more diabetic.
Talking about cortisol, how important is it that to have a good mental health state to prevent any of these diseases like type 2 diabetes?
Sure. So, I think it's a categorization error. We started categorizing things as the mind, the body, but actually you're a whole system, your mind and body.
Yeah.
You're not mind or body, right? So as much as the mind affects the body affects the mind. So for example, if you don't sleep, the signals going into your brain is that, look, he didn't sleep, she didn't sleep.
Yeah.
That's caused stress. So that's one pathway. The other pathway is if I'm constantly stimulated, which is what all of us are now. It's either television or internet or phone or whatever. So if I'm constantly in this fight flight mode because I'm being stimulated, it's creating what we call low grade chronic stress.
Okay.
Right. And then that's creating stress in the body, right? Because where does that transfer to? Transfers into your body.
Got
And
it.
then that just creates this bad vicious cycle. You're going back and forth, back and forth.
And sleep, gut health, energy, and focus. Nira claims to improve all of these through nutrition. Is there one nutritional lever that moves all of these simultaneously, or are they all like individual problems that you have to combat separately?
Yeah, look, I lean towards not wanting to say there's a magic pill. I mean, there's some basic things you want to do, right? You want to eat well, you want to move a lot, you want to sleep well, you want to rest and digest, you want to have like a calm state of mind, you want to breathe well. Like I'd say these are such basic things that why would you want to pick, right? Enjoy the process of trying to optimize that
Yeah.
as opposed to like picking and choosing and say, well, let me just do breath or let me just do sleep. Like sleeping well is such a pleasure. No, why would you want to not optimize sleep?
Absolutely. What are your thoughts on intermittent fasting?
So it's a tool, but it's a tool you have to use very carefully. Like women who have thyroid issues, for example, should not ideally be fasting because what fasting does is it slows down your metabolism. In a thyroid condition, your metabolism is already slowed down. So in such a case, it might actually be a wrong thing for you to do. It's a great way to detox the body. The best way actually is a 3-day no water fast.
Okay.
If you can do it, you might want to train for it, but then it's something that you can do.
Yeah.
Do it once a year, twice a year, and that's enough. That cleanses your body. Whether it's necessary for you to do intermittent fasting every single day, I have doubts.
Okay. And in terms of working on physical activity, what would you say and what would you recommend to be the most ideal workout plan or strategy that an Indian can follow?
Sure. Wonderful question again. I'd say diversity because you have different muscle groups. You have the heart that needs to be trained. You have joints that need to be trained. You have the lung that needs to be trained. In fact, frankly, the brain needs to be trained that you train. Like the mental training is as much training. So I'd say diversity. If you could do strength training, cardiovascular, flexibility, which is yoga, plyometric, which is joints, and then just change that routine around. Even walking, I've written about this. We walk on flat surfaces.
Yeah.
It doesn't activate the kinds of muscles that need activation. So walking on uneven surfaces, walking on sand, walking on grass. So the more the diversity, I think, across different categories of exercise, that's what would be useful.
Understood. And you wrote that health and social life aren't in conflict. You just need the right
Yeah.
format. What does that format actually look like practically for a teenager or young adult?
Sure. I mean, so, I was also a teenager once. I spent my time in Bombay. And I think going out at night, staying up late at night, maybe perhaps waking up late in the day was fairly normal. There was a very famous discotheque called Sellers. And like 4 nights a week, we'd be in Sellers.
Yeah.
So of course, I understand you want to stay out late and you want to come back home late, and, do whatever. That's fine. Don't let that compromise what you're doing for the rest of the day. Because remember, you need to get things right when you're awake, which is, let's say, 16 hours of the day.
Yeah.
So make sure you exercise when you're awake. Make sure you eat well when you're awake. Make sure that you rest and digest when you're, whatever it is that you're doing. As long as you did that, the fact that you were out at night is not really detrimental.
Got it.
That's not like the killer sort of factor, right? That, oh, you know what? Hold on, I slept at 2 o'clock in the morning and woke up at, let's say, 9 in the morning. And so now, like, my health should just fall apart. That's not true.
Okay. And the Frankl reference you made, savoring 30 seconds, is about the nervous system,
Yeah.
not just the mindset. How does the way we
Yeah.
eat, pace, and the attention we bring to food affect metabolic outcomes?
Yeah. Such a wonderful question. I was just talking to someone literally 20 minutes before this. He was a young kid. And what we were discussing was actually when you eat, you're doing what you call rest and digest, right? That's actually what you're doing when you're eating.
Okay.
So the whole point is that you're resting and then digesting. Typically, what we do is we put on the iPad in front of us, or watch television, or the phone is on, WhatsApp is going on. Actually, you're not able to rest and digest.
Okay.
So I'd say the first thing to do is just rest and digest. Once you've got into that state, you want to savor a moment. I think life is just a function of many, many, many moments stitched together. That's what we call experience. The capacity to be able to savor a moment is a trainable capacity. Otherwise, what happens is we just get on the treadmill of life and run. And largely, we're running out of fear of being left behind. Like we think someone else will catch up or take over. And so we just want to run, run, run. But I think joy and pleasure is in those moments. And I think that's what Viktor Frankl had actually talked about. It's the ability to sort of experience a moment, enjoy that moment for what it is.
Yeah. And could you elaborate on the rest and digest part of it?
Yeah, I mean, so, like I said, the lifestyles we live, unfortunately, from the second we wake up, right? We just jump on what I'd call the treadmill of life. And then we're just running, 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 right? At your age, probably it's about, marks and exams and scoring well and getting to MIT or Harvard or Stanford or whatever you guys are dreaming about now. It was the same for us, right? We just got up and ran. But I think actually the science is counterintuitive. But what you're chasing is cognition, right? A better brain.
Yeah.
And a better brain is the outcome of actually balance. This capacity to do whatever you need to do, but also then taking that rest and digest moments, because that's when memory consolidates. That's when thoughts actually form. That's when pattern recognition happens in your brain. So to all those kids out there, I'd say do whatever you need to do, but make sure you get adequate rest and digest, which I'd say is at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep at night, and I'd say at least an hour in the day when you're just basically doing nothing at all.
And most people know what to do but don't do it. In your experience working with clients across 20 countries, what is the real reason people fail at nutrition? What actually fixes it?
Yeah, it's a really good question again. I think the answer is very simple. We are in what I'd call cruise mode. So life is just going along, going along, going along. Then one day suddenly I wake up and I want to change my life. Right? When I want to change my life, I want to go from 0 to 1.
Yeah.
Right? Because Monday morning I woke up and it was whatever date, right? And I said, okay, today is going to be the day when I'm going to change my life. But I also want my life to go from 0 to 1 on that day.
Yeah.
Right? Life doesn't work like that. I think what you need are what I'd call slow baby steps, incremental moments. Take slow, slow, slow steps. Keep compounding. And the best way to compound is to be consistent.
Yeah.
So walk 100 steps a day, every day, and keep doing it every single day. By the 10th day, you'll find yourself feeling silly that I've done only 100. So say, listen, I can do 1,000, right? Then the 1,000 becomes 10,000.
Yeah.
A young kid, like I've seen the science, a young kid, 6-year-old, would walk like 30,000 steps 100 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, it was not a big deal at all. Like, what were you doing? It was just walking, right? All the time. 30,000 steps was not a big deal at all for a child. And now we're chasing these false numbers of 10,000 and like saying, wow, I did 10,000 today.
Yeah.
But if you keep compounding consistently, like there's no upper limit to what you can do.
Fair enough. At what age do lifestyle habits begin to have irreversible consequences?
When you're born, no?
Is there any period or like a window where you can get
No.
away with poor nutrition, or does the damage
I
start
mean,
accumulating silently?
obviously it has to start when you're born. Height, growth, development, brain, cognition, capacity to learn, all of that is being affected from day one, right? If that's not something you've done, then today is the right day. Because like I said, going back to what I started with, your body is renewing every second. It needs balance. So if you haven't so far, then start this moment. Your body is very forgiving. It'll, wash away everything you've done so far. Any decadent lifestyle you've lived so far can be washed away. But like start now. No, it's simple. It's easy. Take small baby steps. Compound every single day, and before you know it, actually, you'll be very healthy.
Energy drinks, protein bars, fast food. What are the 2 to 3 ingredients a young person should learn to identify and avoid immediately?
So I'm sorry, I have to say this. Like I would do natural first. Natural food is the best. There's no better way to do food than natural. Whatever came in a natural form is the best for you.
Okay.
After that, you're looking for what I'd call clean. And clean largely comes from lack of complexity. So let's say I'll give you an example. Let's say you're doing nuts, then you're doing dates, and you're doing a little bit of binder, maybe fat. Right? There are only 3 ingredients. That's it. That would make a great protein bar.
Yeah.
Because you get the carbohydrate, you get the fat, you get the protein. If you want to add a little more complexity, perhaps whey, you could add whey to that mix. It's still only 4 ingredients. It's clean. The source of the raw material is really important. So it's not really common now, but I'd start, the young kids asking what we call traceability, which is point of origin, right? Where did the nut come from? Where did the whey come from? How was the cow actually bred?
Yeah.
Like those are the kinds of questions I would start asking.
Got it. And last question for the day. If a 17-year-old wanted to build a nutritional foundation that protects them for the next 50 years, what are the 3 non-negotiables you'd give them?
So let's go back. Let's first look at how would you know?
Yeah.
Like I could give you some advice, but actually you have to have an empirical way of knowing if you're doing the right thing, right? So let's go in reverse. Let's first fix those empirical numbers.
Sure.
Then any advice I give you, you can test. And if those empirical numbers are coming true, then you know you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Right? So I'd say the first thing is body fat. For a guy, you're looking at, I'd say, sub 20%. For a woman, you're looking at about 25%. So your goal is always to be about 25% for a woman and 20% or below for a guy. So that's one metric you want to measure. The second metric you want to measure is very high levels of energy. You should at no point in time feel depleted, fatigued, tired, unable to act, unable to do. Like that's a very good metric. You should have very good quality sleep. So you should be able to sleep 8 hours trouble-free. You should not have symptoms. So coughing, sneezing, itching, scratching, like these are all symptoms. So in an ideal world, you should be free of symptoms. So those, I'd say, would be the empirical evidence of the fact that whatever it was you were doing was right, whoever gave you their advice. Yeah. Now, as far as advice is concerned, I'd say do 2 or 3 simple things. Learn to calculate how much energy you need. In my case, it's 1500. I'm 60 kilos, I'm 5'7". So I need 1500 calories a day. I eat around 1500. So I eat 1475, 1550. I don't need too much more. I don't need too much less. So this is not a diet. I'm not on a diet. I'm actually fuel optimizing. Yeah. Then the other thing that really matters is what we call diversity. Your body is very complex. It needs enzymes, it needs polyphenols, it needs energy, it needs vitamins, it needs minerals. The best way to get it is by eating diverse. And when you're eating diverse, eat across 6 categories of food for sure, which are fruits, vegetables, lentils, nuts and seeds, good fat, and what we call probiotics, fermented foods. Yeah, if you can eat these 6 categories of food, by and large, you've gotten everything you needed. If you notice what I've not mentioned is grain. It's an option. You can eat grain if you want to. It's not mandatory to eat grain. Non-vegetarian food is totally fine.
Yeah.
There have been arguments about how non-vegetarian food is not good for you and it's, creates risk for cardiovascular. It's not true. Especially if you're eating the lean meats, there's no problem at all. Even the red meat now we're finding is not actually true. If you're eating in moderation, you're probably fine.
Got it.
So you eat the diversity, eat as much as you need. That'll give you a nutritionally complete profile. But then again, measure, because there's no point in feeling better, right? You need to know that you're better.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mr. Ritesh, and taking the time out to share such amazing insights from your journey. It truly means a lot. It was lovely having you.
Of course, absolutely. You asked some really good questions.
Thank you.
So it was a real pleasure. Yeah, take care.